All right, we're up. Jamming to some tunes by River, as always.
Did you run through the start of the podcast checklist, Dagon? Because I'm going to say you didn't.
I did not, but
You didn't.
I do know what you're talking about here.
Okay. Because I haven't told anyone to fuck off yet.
Now recording.
Fuck you, Craig. Fuck you.
For those of you guys that don't know, if on the stream, we use CraigBot on Discord to record the audio portions, our individual audios for our podcast, and it always joins in just like that, and we always tell it, "Fuck you, Craig."
Yep. So it's a loving fuck you.
Yeah, it's the most loving kind. All right, let's just let me go ahead and pause this here music, and we'll get this thing going.
Let's throw out the disclaimer. Anyone joining the stream, we stream this because we can. This is really a stream to capture the podcast. We will interact with viewers, maybe during the podcast if it presents itself. If not, at the end of the podcast, we'll take questions or field any discussions you guys want. But again, mostly we're here to record the audio for our podcast, which you can find at podcast.agamingmoment.com or any of your big podcast providers.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to run the intro and then we'll go do our thing.
Yep.
What's up, game geeks and tech junkies? Welcome to A Gaming Moment, a weekly podcast about everything gaming streaming related. My snogginess is starting to catch up with me here. And I am feeling a little under the weather, guys, so I apologize. And I'll say that in the podcast too. What's up, game geeks and tech junkies? Welcome to A Gaming Moment, a weekly podcast about everything gaming and streaming related, including the news, tech, and software behind it. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. I'm Dagan07, and with me is Wild Twins fan and Neldonato. Gentlemen, how the hell are y'all?
Good.
Great. Doing great.
Fantastic. Just a little preface here for everybody listening to the podcast. I am a little under the weather, so if you hear a little bit of sniffling here and there, that's your old boy Dagan here, just trying to recover from the cold. And everybody here in the U.S. is feeling some sort of weather shift going on, so it's affecting everybody a little bit differently. But I'm a little snoggy today, so like I said, if you hear a little bit of sniffling every once in a while, that's me. Wild, what do we got going on this week?
If you hear any crackling, I'm on crack, and we'll be addressing. We're working through some audio challenges here in the podcast, so just a heads up. We're moving towards a change next week, hopefully, and it was too late to change it now, and we're going to go with it. Hopefully, it's not too bad for you guys this week. But moving in this week, we're going to talk about CES 24, gaming and streaming tech. We're going to talk about gaming and streaming industry being hit hard with layoffs, and talk a little bit about Twitch enhancing broadcasting for streamers. That's a big topic. I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's going to be interesting to see the future of that, and we'll talk more about that when we get down to that topic. But jumping into the CES 2024 stuff, CES was pretty heavy this year in like the whole EV cycle. Every car manufacturer, it seems like, it went and did EV. That's not applicable to this podcast though. So we're going to talk about some of the other things that dropped, like MSI's competitor to the Steam Deck. It's called the MSI Claw A1M. I guess it's supposed to stand for AIM, so it's Claw AIM. But it's running on Intel Arc graphics, and the Claw uses Intel Arc graphics, but there have been complaints about crashes and glitches. Guys, what do you think about this? Like, how crucial is the choice of GPU in a portable gaming console, and can potential driver issues significantly impact the gaming experience?
Oh, I think it's a huge deal. We were just talking about. I was talking to my brother-in-law about. He's trying to decide even between AMD and NVIDIA, and just even between those two, I mean, AMD makes some really great cards now, but you can't, like, NVIDIA has so many more years, of firmware updates
Just
and
experience.
Intel and experience. Intel's just so new at it. Um,
I
I
think
don't know.
Nvidia puts their money where their mouth is too. Like they're the ones I think that kind of step up and say, "Hey, if we can make this game ready, Nvidia game ready. We'll help you do that." And they
Mhm.
kind of go in and massage a lot of those things. So I think some of that stuff, like I always just feel like we had a famous conversation with Ron Tonka about um, Nvidia versus AMD, and it was just like the AMD is what you get when you can't afford the Nvidia, and that's not really the case. AMD makes great cards and they work good,
Yeah.
but I swear I still see more instability issues with AMD, and that just holds me off from that. And plus some of the features of NVENC and stuff like that. Um, kind of do hold it back. Although both Intel and AMD have one up on that at the moment, so we'll talk a little bit about that a little further in the podcast when we talk about
Hmm.
the broadcasting streaming thing in AB1. So I think it's a big deal. It's gonna stop a lot of people, I think, from buying the Claw, having the Arc graphics. Although I have to say a lot of good things about Intel Arc. They've come a long ways. I think they're doing well. They're starting to get pretty competitive at the level that they're at. They're not competitive on the high end, but on the low end in their price point, they seem to be doing pretty well. And so that's promising, and I hope they keep in it and they keep doing better.
Well, that's the hope. The other thing that the MSI Claw has is it's using AI algorithms in its core ultra chipset to enhance the video quality while streaming games. That's kind of a new thing. I mean, I mean,
What's
kind of a new
DLSS?
thing. Yeah, it's basically
That's
DLSS at the end of the day. And I mean, how much power does it take to power the 7-inch IPS display that's 1080p and 120 hertz? I mean, it shouldn't be that much, right? At the end of the
more
day, I
than
mean,
more than a Steam Deck.
yeah. And
So
I don't know. Hopefully they'll get maybe hopefully it's more of a software firmware issue than it is an actual like hardware issue.
yeah, and I think Intel's got a way to come with the software end of their things, but I think they're doing it. As like AMD is getting better and better and better all the
Hmm.
time. But yeah, I think this makes in a market that's still I think fairly small but growing pretty fast. I think they have to put something out, and I think this is that step in that direction. But for me, it's still hard to sell when you got the Steam Deck, you got Nintendo Switch, you got the Ally. There's a lot of choices, and the Steam Deck, gets some people want to tear it down a little bit for its yeah, its quality of its display, and only being 800p or whatever it is. But at 7 inches, does it really matter?
I
I don't.
don't. You got to think about the people that are play. They're not. You're not playing like first person shooters. You're not playing super competitive games. The people that are buying these handheld games are playing, platformers or story type games that don't need these giant high def screens or you know 120 hertz necessarily,
Right.
and I
You
think
go.
that's why the Steam Deck and the Steam Deck OS is mature, right? Or mature. Um,
It's
you
like when
know,
you go play Nintendo, right? You go play Mario. You're not looking for the sweaty real life plumber, right? You're looking for the cartoon character that's crisp, nice, clean edges and that stuff. And that stuff doesn't take a lot of graphic power. And
you
I
know.
think that's where the market is. I think people want more and more and more, but I don't. I just don't see where you get it and you use it. So
And when you're talking about that power, there's a lot of decent specs to this. but despite the specs and everything, it seems to have a significantly shorter battery life compared to like the Steam Deck or the Asus ROG Ally or even the Nintendo Switch.
Looking at this thing here, talking about the battery life up to 12 hours. Where? No way. I don't I don't know how you get 12 hours of a Steam Deck. Period. I have no clue what if
If you
it's
turn it
sitting on
on,
standby. If it's in sleep mode, you can get 12 hours in sleep mode, because with the screen on and doing even light web browsing, you're not getting 12 hours.
No, hell no.
you know,
So like I
gaming
said,
maybe
I
like
got
a
a
couple
Stream
hours.
Deck.
Gaming,
I got
you
a
might get
Steam.
like an hour and a half at best.
Yeah. So it's portable at um, some factor, and that's usually good enough for most people.
Another cool device that I saw come out that was announced at CES. I don't necessarily think it's new. I think they have a new version, but it's called the Asus Zenbook Duo. And what really intrigued me about this is it's basically a dual screen laptop out of the box. And it's got two equally sized 14-inch OLED displays offering a total of 19.8 inches of screen real estate. I think that's really cool. Like, if they're doing this on these Zenbooks, I would love to see them do it like on a ROG laptop, like on a gaming laptop. That way, it's built more for gamer. Like they could really hit that gamer, that portable gaming, that portable streaming market, where you can have your Discord, your OBS, or your Streamlabs OBS, or name your flavor of streaming software on one screen, and chat and everything on one screen, and then your game on another screen. I mean, they don't even have to be the same. They don't even have to be the same like quality of screen as in the amount of hertz. Like the main screen be like 144 hertz or something like that, and the secondary screen could easily be 60 hertz. But there's so many of these new devices that attach to your laptop. This is really cool to see that they've integrated an extra screen into the laptop, like an actual full-size screen into the laptop.
I mean, I don't see necessarily it being a gamer focused thing, and I don't really know that there's much of a GPU in there. But man, like content creation, or just some of the creators, like you're an OnlyFans streamer or a Twitch like live streamer or something like that, or YouTube or TikTok. If
Mm-hmm.
one of those streamers where you could have a screen up with your chat, a camera up, and then the ability to control some other things, like two screens in a portable package like that could be game changing for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I know my wife would. In fact, I'm going to suggest that maybe her next work laptop is this laptop, because that's
Mm,
one gripe is when she's working from home, she has two monitors at work, and she's always pulling stuff from one screen, put it on another screen. She wants to keep that up and
um,
match stuff up and stuff like that. Like productivity on something like this has got to be excellent, and it's still portable. Yeah, she plug a monitor in, but that doesn't help her if she's going to Starbucks, or whatever,
right.
catching some work. So
Yeah,
pretty nifty.
I keep a spare, like I have a portable monitor that I keep in my backpack to go with my laptop. So that's, that'd be one less thing to drag around. But I mean, this laptop is no slouch when it comes to power either. I mean, it's got an Intel Core 9 Ultra 9 processor in it with 32 gigs of RAM and up to 2 terabytes of storage. So, I mean, it's a little powerhouse, and considering the price, they start off at $1,500 here in the US, and that's a premium dual screen laptop. Like I think that's more than more than reasonable for a laptop like this.
I'm shocked, honestly. I would have, if you would have asked me, I would have said this is a $2,500 laptop.
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we had it kind of reminds me, better executed. I can't remember the manufacturer, but that was that laptop that had the screen. It was built into the keyboard. Do you guys remember that? It was a couple years ago. It
That
was
was an
like
Asus
that was
keyboard.
gonna.
yeah,
That was
It was Asus. Okay, it was. It was Asus.
it was in the
it's a
touchpad.
predecessor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's what.
I like this way better. And what's cool about this is it's got the two monitors. So you have one where you're looking right ahead, so you're not looking down at your laptop, right? So you're looking up, and then you have other information you can just glance down real quick. You know, I think it's gonna be really awesome.
And portable Bluetooth keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
which may, if you're a keyboard snob, might not really work for you, but if you're keyboarding, it's more than enough. And
Yeah,
just a really smart package. I like this. It's
yeah.
I can see a lot of good uses for this.
It's kind of almost like a tablet with the way the keyboard detaches. You know, like a foldable tablet kind of thing. I don't
Which
know.
I think is great. Like that means you don't have to have the whole unit on your lap. You could
Right.
like when I'm out at like a house that I go to, I could easily set it on like a footrest of the chair, lean back and have the keyboard in my lap, but I don't have to have the whole laptop there heating it up, or I could have it on a cooling pad or something. It's better temperature management at the end of the day as well. So I think it's going to be a really, really cool thing. I'd like to see if they start adapting some of the technologies into the gaming laptops. But as it is right now, I
I
think it's going to
mean,
be a huge productivity changer in both business and personal and for content creators.
think of it. You could, I'm sure there's probably USB or Type C or whatever Thunderbolt port that goes out to HDMI or display port. I bet you could put that into a monitor and use it on a big screen. Now you got a wireless keyboard to go with your 55-inch monitor at your hotel when you're traveling. I think this thing's cool as hell. If
Yeah.
I if I had a if I had a use for it, I would strongly consider this. So yeah, I think that's a great find there, Dave.
And then NVIDIA announced something that I thought was really interesting, especially for game developers. NVIDIA is getting into not that they haven't been, but they're really diving into this artificial intelligence, and they came out with a new engine. It's called ACE, which stands for Avatar Cloud Engine, and it brings avatars to life by basically using generative AI to bring digital avatars like dialogue and movement and stuff like that. Guys, how do you envision Ace impacting game experiences, especially in terms of creating a more immersive and dynamic non-playable characters with natural language interactions?
I may step in here. I got there's actually a content creator I found on YouTube, and if I was a little better prepared, I would have pulled some things. But it's like I think her name is Genghis VR or something like that. And I found her because she did some Beat Saber stuff, and it suggested me, and she was playing Beat Saber with her feet in VR, and I thought it was crazy. Long story
Wow.
short, yeah, it is really cool. A great content creator too. Nonetheless, she has a mod for Skyrim VR that makes all the NPCs use AI technology to talk to her. So she can just have conversations with them, and they'll like have conversations like real life conversations back. Like she'll say something a little like racy or something, like, "Hey, should we go over there and just behead that guy?" or something like that. And he's like, "No, I don't think the Jarl would look, you know, well
Hmm.
upon that," and stuff like that. And like it is really cool, and it's like that technology is pretty new,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
pretty good already. So it's like, man, you think of all the NPCs on like Grand GTA 6, if they have to integrate this into GTA 6,
Yeah.
That'd be
dude,
sick.
insane,
Or
insane to never play the same game twice. You know what? Like,
Yeah.
not
Oh,
you got to talk to Jamal in the corner this week, and he's talking about the Lakers game that just played last night. Something like you could have it so real life encompassing. It would blow minds.
and as a former WoW player, World of Warcraft, I think it'd be crazy in that because even then, running the same quests or the same dungeons and stuff like that, it gets really tiresome because there's a lot of people that will grind those to get gear and stuff. But if you integrate like generative AI into all those NPC characters across all of those, it makes the experience different every single time. It's not like, oh, let me, we go back to the old, like the gaming moment in gaming history with the Leroy Jenkins moment.
mm,
Hmm.
You can you would never be able to recreate that Leroy Jenkins moment ever again with the generative AI, because you're gonna get a different experience going into the dungeon every single time, because the NPCs are gonna be reacting differently every single time versus their current pre-programmed methods.
You want a kicker? You ever really looked at the whole Leroy Jenkins story? They
Uh
had to they had to that is actually redone.
oh
They did a first take of it and it didn't save or something, so
oh
they did it twice. So it is. I hate to break this to you guys.
don't no
It
this
is
is like
it
this
is
is telling me
it is
Santa
fully
Claus isn't
scripted.
real.
It is fully scripted for the purpose of going viral, and it did exactly that. Because you got to remember, YouTube back in those days was different. The only way you got on those pages was to go viral.
That was before YouTube. It had to be before YouTube. I think it was
This
before
No,
YouTube.
I
this was
think
like
it was.
this was like Newgrounds or
Yeah,
InMouse or
like-
something. Not to show my age or anything, but
YouTube was what, 2006, 2007?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was before. Had to have been before.
While Wild's looking that up,
I'm looking.
Wikipedia.
This bad boy.
We're gonna move on while Wild's looking at that. He'll jump in. So the Avatar Cloud Engine offers game developers the ability to customize and fine-tune AI models for realistic avatars without specialized expertise, which is going to be really cool, because I think it'll be quick turnaround that we'll start seeing these in games. Like, obviously they have to be internet connected games. It's probably not going to be like your single player games like like Assassin's Creed or you know, name your flavor of single player games. But they do ensure consistent results in avatar creation, making avatars accurate, appropriate, and secure in various gaming scenarios. So obviously they don't want to run into the issue like with GTA 6, where it's going to talk about like prostitution or drug abuse or alcohol abuse or killing people or anything like that. Like, that's kind of been ingrained even in like Chat GPT, and I use a different one called Claude.ai, which I guess is a Chat GPT based platform. Like, even then they don't, it discourages talking about that. And, you know, we've tried using I've tried using it for like our BTU it's Friday fuckers thing that we did, and I'll be like, hey, write a fictitious story about this person, make it funny, but it also needs to be a little raunchy, blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, we can't do that because that's against our programming, because, you know,
don't want to make fun of somebody. Yeah.
don't want to make fun of somebody. So but I think like your more calm games, like not GTA 6, like maybe your Elder Scrolls or your Skyrims.
Ready or Not.
Yeah, Ready or Not. Ready or Not. Man, I'll talk about Ready or Not later.
I'm ready to play that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I've already told my wife I'm going to drop the $50 or $60 that it is to get it.
Not that much.
It is that much on Steam.
Now.
Yeah, now.
Oh.
They went live. Yeah.
But I mean, you're gonna have really cool gaming experiences when this starts like going mainstream in a lot of these newer video games. Yeah. I would assume we won't start seeing it until end of 2024, maybe mid 2025, that we start seeing it in many of the games. But I'm pretty sure in the first half of this year we'll see one or two games come out with it integrated.
Oh, if you're not ready, or not, it's $50. And Nell, you were correct. The video Leroy Jenkins was first shared on a site called Warcraft Movies back on May 11th, 2005. So, and they kind of allude to that, like, they didn't really, they thought it was so kind of funny and satire-ish that they never thought people would believe it's real. But it
was real
until you knew the story.
So it wasn't real?
It was not real. It was a staged satire for the event of going viral to get more exposure to the squad.
You have ruined my life. Ruined it. Ruined.
I mean,
sir.
I don't know that the inspiration to it was not real, but the actual what Leroy Jenkins as is a skit.
There needs to be a disclaimer on this.
Life ruining information presented in this podcast. God damn it!
There was a
But
point in time we had to tell our daughter that the Easter bunny wasn't real because she was terrified of a giant bunny coming in the house. We were like, listen, you're like, I don't know, she was 8, 10, whatever it was. Not really an Easter bunny. Just, yeah.
fair enough. But to cap off Ace, they did make it to where they can deploy it on cloud or on PC or a mixture of both, so it can be used across console and PC games, which gives flexibility in avatar application development. And it supports various workflows like 3D and 2D animation, speech and translation, generative AI for creating intelligent avatars in gaming. So, how does the flexibility, in y'all's opinion, how's the flexibility and deployment options offered by Ace influence game developers in creating diverse gaming experiences, and what challenges might arise in integrating cloud-based avatars?
Well, I think the biggest challenge, like we talk about every week, is just people gaming the system. They're gonna want it to not do certain things. You know, you know, you're gonna go in GTA 6. You're gonna go buy yourself some C4. You go, hey Claude, what's the chemical? What's the chemical? Whatever composite, composure. What's my term?
The chemical
The
composition.
composition was the term I was looking for. Thank you. Of C4, you know, and then all of a sudden it spits out some, you
The exact
Oh,
recipe.
and people
know,
people are
anarchist
gonna
guide to the fucking yeah.
people are gonna try and because they're even with like ChatGPT and these AIs, you'll if you just straight up ask it something that's maybe not ethical or safe, it'll tell you, sorry, I can't help you with that. But you can ask it differently or say,
Yeah.
okay, if I wanted to avoid making this, how would I not make this? And then it's like, oh well, you would just add this and now you've got C4, but that's really dangerous, so don't build that.
It reminds me a lot of a channel that was on Twitch, I believe, for a while. And if I'm recalling this correctly, it was like a talking banana. And people could make the banana talk and say whatever it wanted in Twitch chat.
Ooh.
And the guy was just talking about what he had to do to try to finally get it through, like, how he had to program it to finally like be able to censor it, because the second he figured he'd censor something, you know, some keyboard
Oh,
warrior would figure out a way around it, and it ended up building like a super complicated like chat filter. It was a pretty cool story. So I just see that being like the next game is going to be, how can you mess with the AI? That'll be half the game, So um it'll be fun though. That'll be fun though.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of fun.
I think there's some good things.
Yeah, speaking of fun, something that's not fun, the gaming and streaming industry this week kind of got rocked with some pretty nasty layoffs, both Twitch
Tech
and
industry.
Unity. Yeah, the whole tech industry. Well, tech industry's been sucking for like the last 18 months. I can attest to that, living and working in it.
Just read Google today, 1,000 people today at Google. Moments before the podcast, I read that. So that's new too. So it's like, boy.
Yeah. So if you work in the tech industry like myself, just kind of hold on to your butt cheeks. But essentially, corporate restructuring with Unity, they ended up taking a 25% reduction in workforce, which is crazy. Like 1/4 of your workforce gone. And then not to mention Twitch, they dropped, I think it amounted to like 30%, but they reduced their workforce
30.
by just over 500 people. It was like 32% or something like that.
I think it's I think it's like half or 30 some percent.
Yeah.
In the last year, because this is the second round of Twitch layoffs now, I believe, within the year.
And like the departure of CEO John Richitello and the appointment of interim CEO James Whitehurst, that was the huge signal and a shift of leadership. And Unity's been going through a lot
Unity.
of for Unity, sorry. But Unity has been going through some financial issues, its inability to estimate the costs and charges associated with the layoffs, and raises questions about the financial health of the company. So it's like they don't even really know how much money they're saving by dropping these people. And I mean, it sucks. It sucks. Which potentially means that the layoffs aren't over. Because if they didn't lay off enough people, they're gonna, it's still relatively fresh, and we'll probably hear about it in the next few weeks. They're gonna end up laying off more people.
So again, just refresh me, Day. Unity is what does Unity do? What are they in the market here?
So Unity, in case you guys don't know, they handle a lot of the back end gaming engines. Like if you play anything with like a destructible wall or anything, like a Battlefield 2024 is built on like Unity 4, Unity 5. A lot of the new games are being built on the Unity 5 game engine, which I think is if I'm not mistaken, is the latest game engine that Unity has put out. And you can see, if you go on YouTube and just look at Unity 5 demos, like Unity 5 is amazing. Like it creates some really great like lifelike videos. Like you can do a lot of like really lifelike animations and everything with the physics and everything that Unity has, the different camera angles that you can generate in there, the lighting, everything. It's really good. But the fault and the problem of Unity is it's free. Where are you making your money? Right? I mean, I'm sure there's a paid version of Unity, but you can get a lot done with the free version of Unity from a developer standpoint.
Yeah, and they got some missed earning expectations and stuff like that. And I don't know, kind of what I'm seeing here, right? On both Twitch and Unity is a trimming up, like
Mm-hmm.
just like maybe it's not the best example, but when Elon took over Twitter, he went and axed a bunch. Just, I mean, what I don't even know what the number was that
Yeah,
lost to Twitter.
it was huge.
You know,
This
it's a
seems more
huge
of like
number.
a right sizing. I think a lot of companies are doing it right now. I know
Yep, yep.
even my industry, we're kind of out of that COVID era where prices are coming down, or going up depending on your industry, right? So there's a lot of money moving both ways, and I think that especially as we head into the next quarter, people are really starting to look at, okay, um, where can we save or make some money?
Well,
And
and undeniably, is probably one of the highest costs of most company,
mhm,
especially with Twitch. And so I think part of the argument with Twitch and probably even with Unity is, there's a lot of labor and effort it takes to create something. And just like when, they put up the local new McDonald's in your town, and all of a sudden, 80 people show up every day for 3 months, right? Next thing you know, they're gone, and there's 12 people running it every day.
yeah,
So it's like I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. Like Unity is kind of in a good place. Twitch is kind of in a good place. They're less people heavy because they have less um, jobs for people. As a partner, you used to kind of get a Twitch like contact, and you could contact, and they would kind of help
Dedicated
you out with any
representative, yeah.
problems. Yeah,
right.
and they don't really do that anymore. You just get thrown in a queue and probably ignored now. But
Mhm.
and so that's where they've taken a lot of those cuts. And I actually just see this as a lot of trimming things up, and for Twitch, it's maybe a good sign moving forward into being more profitable. Dan Clancy's come out and said that Twitch will pass that earnings on to the content creators. So even though they took a step back and kind of pulled the rug out on a lot of people with changing the cuts and stuff like that we've talked about in previous episodes, it does sound like they have intentions of sharing the wealth when they can make it more profitable or
Mhm.
whatever. So That's what he's saying. That's what he's claiming. I know Harris Heller has them on tape. To call him to the carpet if that does happen. If it doesn't happen, whatever. So I do see this as a good sign. I see it for Unity's a little. You know, they're not. I don't think they're going away.
No,
Twitch ain't going away.
no.
But they just need to find a way to make their profit. So
Mm.
so I think this is a you know a necessary move
Evil.
for
Yeah.
these companies, and necessary evil. Yeah, I mean, no one wants anyone to lose their jobs, and no one takes any pride in that. But ultimately, they have to make it to make it.
Yeah, right. Dan Clancy did state in his note that, we're having to downsize because we have the people for the size of company that we want to be in 3 years and not where we are today. So it is a strategic downsizing per se. But, in classic Twitch fashion, these people found out about it in an email. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
A
guys.
leak, right?
Well, so some people found out in a leak, but the company got sent out an email the next day. It was a mass email to the entire company, and then in that email they said you're going to receive another email after this one saying whether you got to keep your job or not. If you don't get to keep your job, we're going to give you your options for your severance package, and then for the email that for the people that got to keep their job, I don't remember what he said was going to be in there. Like how you can support your colleagues that are departing the company, and then they had a company all hands at a specific point in time, throughout specific points in time throughout the day where Dan Clancy addressed everybody in the company. But like
I don't know. I don't know how.
that's such a shitty way to get
Yeah.
released.
How do you do it though? Get
Not
on a
that
video
many
call
people.
Yeah, fair
with
enough.
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, there's no good way to do it. Um, I think since the cat got let out of the bag, they did whatever they could fast to maybe react to it. I mean, it's unfortunate for everyone involved, but yeah, I don't know how better else you handle that. Of course, I'm not a PR expert either, so
So, guys, take your stream to the next level with professional overlays from Nerd or Die. As proud affiliates, we highly recommend their eye-catching and customizable designs to make you stand out. With animated templates, alerts, panels, and logos, you can achieve a polished, high-quality look that wows viewers. Easily customize your colors, add your branding, and include the info that you want. Nerd or Die makes it simple to create an overlay exactly how you envision. So treat yourself and your community to an engaging stream centered around a slick, modern overlay. Level up the quality and energy with just a few clicks thanks to Nerd or Die. Just visit agamingmoment.com/nerdordie today. What are you waiting for? So some positive news, kind of what Wildy kind of alluded to. Well, not really alluded to, but this is going to be part of like what Wild alluded to. Twitch is launching what's called enhanced broadcasting. And essentially what that means is if you have a 40 series card, there's a specific chip, I believe it's called the A1, the AV1 chip.
AV1.
Yeah, the
It's
AV1 chip.
AV1 encoding. Yep.
Yeah, and you can basically have it so that your stream gets encoded on your machine rather than through Twitch's transcoders. Because right now Twitch transcoders are specifically reserved for partners and then affiliates on a first come first serve basis. So myself being an affiliate, there's days where I'll have transcoding on my stream where you can watch it in 480, 1080, what is it, 420 or 460, 480, something like that, 720, and then 1080p. And then there's days where you're only going to get it in 1080p because that's what I'm streaming it at. So with this, they're going to it's going to allow more people to have transcoding on their machines, which will translate to a better viewing experience for more viewers at the end of the day if you don't have if your account doesn't have transcoding at that particular time. And they did say that this is one of the most expensive parts of the business, and this is one of those key strategic like kind of cutbacks. They're going to be pushing the strain to your machine versus them taking it on themselves. And on top of that, the transcoders that they have are many years old now, so they're not very efficient. So hopefully this will make transcoding a little bit more efficient if it's on your stream already.
So I haven't had a lot of time to look into this, and I don't know that we know a lot yet. But AV1's already out on AMD cards. It's been out on Intel cards for quite a while. But my understanding, no one since I last checked, and maybe it's changed. No one else really handles AV1 at the moment. YouTube will be pretty quick if they're not there already. Twitch will be there pretty quick if they're not already. So I don't know if this is gonna be an NVIDIA only change or not, because I actually consider getting a second GPU so I can encode an AV1, um, because it's less taxing on GPU. It actually looks better than than the similar bit rate, at the same bit rate as NVINC or NVINC new. So it's actually it's a step forward, and I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to work on your computer. Are you going to need a monster connection? I know, Nell, you played around a little bit with the OBS plugin where you had multiple streams going from OBS, but you were independently streaming and uploading individual live streams
3.
to each
Yeah.
of those services, and so you needed some pretty good internet. I don't know if
Yeah.
the internet is honestly that good.
Not for a lot of people. I mean, I have symmetrical fiber, so I have a gig up and down. But yeah, what you're talking about, what was that plugin called? Multi-stream, something like that. So I was
Multi-stream
doing,
something, yeah.
RTMP,
yeah,
RTM multi-stream.
I tried. I think I was overdoing it because ended up causing me issues. But I was trying to do, so the way it works is basically, you set up your main stream, and then it can copy that and send it to the other streams. But you're still sending 3 separate streams. So one to Twitch, one to Kick, and one to YouTube. And the thing is like let's say YouTube, I can do 1440p at a 20,000 bit rate. But if I do that to YouTube, and then I try sending it to Kick, and then Twitch and Kick are just going to shut down or buffer continuously because they cannot handle that bandwidth for YouTube. So I think there's some work to do with those plugins to allow that, but you're also putting, but honestly, I have a 5900X, and it went from like 0.5 CPU to like 1.9 CPU percent usage. So it's really not a ton of usage, at least in my experience. But this stuff looks to be pretty promising for the future, for sure, though.
So specifically with Twitch, they're collaborating with NVIDIA and OBS for enhanced broadcasting. So this is going to be we're going to get an OBS update in the near future, and it's going to be automatically part of OBS. So if you're connected directly to Twitch, you're like if in your settings, if you're streaming to Twitch and Twitch only, and you have your Twitch connected, it's going to read that. There's going to be some data sent to Twitch that says, hey, this has an AV1 chip in it. If it has an AV1 chip, Twitch is going to send a node back that says, hey, transcode on this machine using the AV1 and send the transcoded data back. I'd be curious to see how it's going to change your upload, because like me personally, I stream at 6,000 kilobits because I'm streaming 1080p at 60 frames. So, I wonder if we're going to see any degradation in stream quality for a short period of time while they at least get it hammered out in mass. But
Yeah. So
yeah,
the other important point is if you have a 4 series card now, and again, I don't know if the other Intel or AMD is going to be included in this and at what point.
it doesn't look like it right now, but
there's a closed beta. And there's a closed beta, and you can go on to Twitch and apply for the closed beta to be part of the testing part of this. I may actually do this. I'll have to see because I have to figure out if I want to run a 2 PC stream again. I've been running a 1 PC stream, but I have a 460 Ti coming tomorrow, so I will have the ability AV1 encode, and it'll be interested to see if it's worth doing. But there's a couple videos, and I want to say it was Linus Tech Tips or somebody was talking a lot about it. There's some good YouTube videos out there, and they've been out for at least a year talking about AV1 and its abilities
Yeah.
and that. So if you're interested in it and you want your stream to look quality, like that's what we want in for a gaming moment is quality. We want quality audio. We want quality streams. We want your to look good, look professional, because that does matter. It's worth looking into, I think.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, if you guys have that 40 series card, uh check out the closed beta. You're gonna get access to a Twitch specific version of OBS. And like I said, there's gonna be ongoing collaboration between Twitch, OBS, and NVIDIA. And we're gonna start seeing these updates kind of come out in all of the mainline releases. So don't be surprised if you see an NVIDIA update that talks about the AV1, excuse me, something with an AV1 or something with Twitch, and then don't be surprised when you have an update for OBS that you see some
Okay.
sort of Twitch thing.
Okay. You're getting worried. All right. Moving on. We have a birthday to celebrate, boys.
Woo!
Anyone know? Well, I suppose we all look at the script here, but Kick celebrates its first birthday mid-November. So looking at the growth here on Kick, it has been pretty good. And looking at some of the tricks that you can find online, it does look like they're continuing to grow and move forward, and not making leaps and bounds, crawling forward. So good for everybody. I think they have some competition here.
Yeah, so in mid-December of 2022, Kick had just over 6,000 viewers. This past December, they had 150,000 viewers, which is impressive growth rate, to say the least. At the beginning of 2023, there was about 12.5 million hours of viewership. By October, they were over 100 million hours, which is a substantial increase. And they're already up to nearly 800,000 unique live streamers. So, I mean, we've been talking about it for all of 2023, how Kick is really, not, pun intended here, kicking ass when it comes to growing their platform. And I think a lot of that has to do with the the 95/5 or the 90/10 split that they have with their affiliates and partners and stuff. Like they have the biggest split out of all the streaming platforms. So and they're starting to get a lot of big names. I mean, Drake even went on there and he had an average of 117,000 viewers watching. So it's appealing to a lot of really big names outside of just the people who have a stake in it. Not, again, no pun intended on that because it's backed by stake.com, but there's a lot of big names that are starting to really consider moving there.
Okay. I'm trying to keep you short.
Yeah.
You're getting long-winded. And we just edited this out in podcast anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, Nell, you want to maybe read? I feel like you do all the...
Yeah, down here. So make sure you don't want to miss out on all the fun here. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can join in on the conversation, catch a sneak peek of our latest episodes before they hit all the major podcasting platforms. Plus, you can stay in the loop on when we're streaming our podcast live, like right now, so that you can tune in and be the first one in here to chat. Trust us, you won't want to miss this. It's going to be a good one.
Always is.
And so moving into our Twitter post of the week, we have the PlayStation 5 in the car. Seems safe.
Yeah, so I found this, and you can play PS5 games inside the Aflia, aka the PlayStation car, and it's basically an electric car, huge ass screen that goes across the dash, but you can connect a PS5 controller to it and play PlayStation PlayStation games on that. Plus, there's screens in the back seat where your back seat drivers can be or back seat passengers, I guess. If you, unless your wife sits back there, then she's a back seat driver. But yeah, definitely not dangerous at all.
A screen in the front as well.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And then I came across this other one. I thought it was funny. Doc, Tim the Tap Man, and Z-Laner, aka Dripping Intendies, is what they go by as a trio. Uh, they found a glitch in Warzone where they were going down this, they were rappelling down this one rope, and they were going under the map, and then you could get under the map, pop your chute, and then fly over to some water, and you'll end up swimming in the water, and you can kind of get back out. But it's like, this is a triple A game that has millions of players every single day. How is something like this like getting through? Like, devs are testing things. Like, I guess one of the concepts of this was like you had to jump off the rope right before you hit the ground, and then you kind of fall in the middle. But the video on this is absolutely hilarious because Tim's like, I guess I'm too fat to get in here, because his character's like halfway stuck in there
It is.
and stuff.
It is funny as shit. He gets like stuck, couldn't fall through the map because he's like too fat or whatever.
and then Doc goes and gets a car. Doc goes and gets a car and then like runs over him, and it actually pushes him through the bottom of the map, and he starts falling. But it was one of the most hilarious clips I've seen in a long time come out of Warzone. So we'll post both of those tweets. We'll retweet them on our Twitter, and we'll post them in the show description and in the YouTube description as well. But yeah, just some good wholesome comedy and some WTF moments coming in the gaming world right now.
Gaming moments.
Yes.
Gaming moments.
Gaming moments.
And we want to follow up with a question of the week.
Yeah. So, and I'll pose this to you two as well as the audience. With all of the recent Twitch news between the censor bar meta, the company restructuring, and the announcement of the enhanced streaming, and like this has all happened kind of like really, really quick. Do you guys think Twitch is trying to stay top of mind because they see Kick as a real competitor, seeing its growth in the first year?
Yeah, for sure. And I've talked about it the last couple of weeks. They don't want the next big star to be on any other platform other than Twitch. They don't want someone to blow up on Kick. They don't want someone to blow up on YouTube necessarily. That's a streamer. They want those people to be on Twitch or to be part of Twitch, and that may be for financial reasons. It may be just for the reasons of just trying to be the big dog in the game, which they still are. So.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they got competition now, right? So they have to be careful. We're seeing them kind of not really bend over, but definitely more receptive to feedback in the community. In the last year or so, seeing as Kick, I don't think they took it as seriously at first, and now, 6 months, 8 months, a year later, they've got some competition, and they're still a little cocky, right? They're Twitch, they're big, they're not going anywhere, but they're also trying to become profitable, and they're trying to keep people, and they're trying to keep people happy on their platform. So,
yeah, for me, I think it's just really they have to stay top of mind because Kick has been growing so fast with the streamers, and that it is their split is more appealing to people who are actually trying to make a career out of streaming.
Yeah, or being able to buy a burger at McDonald's at the end of the day.
No shit, right?
Yeah.
And then one more question. Harris Heller had a discussion with Twitch CEO Dan Clancy. He stated Twitch is going to cut back on expenditures, and streamers, affiliates, and partners in the long run should reap the benefits. Clancy stated he desires to give all affiliates and partners a 70-30 revenue split. Since Twitch is starting to move to client-side transcoding like we had talked about on the 40 series RTX cards, although AV1 decoding is supported on hardware on AMD RDNA 2 GPUs outside of the Navi 24 based 6500 XTs, NVIDIA 30s and 40 series GPUs, Intel Xes, and ARC GPUs, using our own power and bandwidth, how long do you think it'll take Twitch, Clancy, and Papa Bezos to make that 70-30 revenue split happen?
It better be within a year. It better be within the realm of the profits changing, not a fucking we're gonna cash in it for 6 months, a year, or whatever that time being. Take our sweet ass time rolling stuff out because we know they can make decisions and they can make decisions fast. They could just send us an email like they fire people and let us know.
I think that, I mean, that might be part of it, right? Because if I'm understand correctly, they're not really profitable yet, right? Like,
no. Twitch has
and
been footing the bill for ever since
right.
Twitch acquired it.
So it's yeah, they're definitely the layoffs are definitely probably part of that. I mean, geez, 300 people? There's easily
five.
Yeah, that's easily, $15-20 million just right there a year, if not more, if you're counting all the benefits and insurance and all that stuff that you don't think about a company paying for. It's a lot of money just right off the top.
So I personally think a year is a little aggressive. Most people would want to see it as quick as possible. I honestly don't see anything happening for at least 18 months because if you think about it, the 40 series cards have been out for about a year. The Supers just launched. So we only and right now, as it's been stated with Twitch, it's only for NVIDIA graphics cards. They're not utilizing the AV1 on any of the other graphics cards. So it's only the 40 series graphics cards. So you have to think how many people actually have a 40 series graphics card. So I think it's going to be at least 18 months before we even hear a trickle of, hey, we're going to start migrating everybody to a 70-30 split. If anything, they'll migrate partners first and then affiliates probably in 2.5 years.
This goes back to why NVIDIA is kind of the brand to be with, right? Because they're always in the forefront of all this stuff. So say what you want about AMD and AMD being, they punch hard for their price point, but these are the things that you miss out on. So
absolutely,
just a consideration.
So let us know what you guys think about these questions. Let us know what your response is. We'd love to hear about them. We'd love to connect with you and engage with the community. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Wait, what's our website to contact us to find all our links?
So if you need to find any of our socials or anything about us, the easiest and best way that you can find us is agm.cx. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah. So the easiest and best way to find us, all of our social channels, our Patreon, by the way, we'd love if you'd subscribe to our Patreon. Helps support the show and helps us grow. But you can visit agm.cx and all of our links. It's our little link tree thing that we have. Everything that you can get to contact us is right there. Join our Discord from there. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all of our socials from there. So highly, highly encourage you to check it out and join our community. We'd love to have you with us. And thanks for tuning in, guys. We went over a lot in this episode. I mean, we found out some really cool stuff going on in CES 2024 this year. We went over a lot of Twitch stuff again in this episode, the layoffs, the new enhanced streaming that's coming out. So again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button And if you want to take your support to the next level, head on over to our Patreon page that is on our agm.cx page, as well as our merch site. If you guys want to get some sweet, fantastic merch, you can also find a link to the merch site on agm.cx as well. And thanks again for listening in. And until next time, guys, keep grinding.